This is with the autofocus settings both at default. It's pretty good. Very slow, like in a good way. It just pulls nice and just racks it. Okay, so that's default. I'm pretty happy with that. But man, 1.2 is pretty shallow. That's incredibly shallow. That's kind of nice. I miss full frame a little bit sometimes. So I'm at -3 speed now. And this lens is just a lot slower, but in a really attractive way. Man, I really like this. I'm right dead center on the box right now. And it pulls it. Okay. And I'm out, and it pulled it. Okay. It looks so nice going that slow. That looks like a manual focus rack, honestly. Maybe a little slow. I could change it to like -2, maybe -1 for the speed, but I'm curious if I try to trick it like that, what happens. Yeah, I mean, it's just very, very slow, which isn't a bad thing. It's what I want it to do, honestly, just not be pulsy and crazy. Let's see if I try to trick it. Let's go. Let's let it start going to the background, and then once it gets close, still going, still pulling very slowly. And back to me. Let's see if it can do this very quickly. And then let's see if it'll go there. And while it's pulling it, I'm gonna step in. And this is nice and bright on classic chrome, so shouldn't have any trouble with any sort of like contrast or anything like that. And it pulls it all the way to the back. And here I am right in the focus box. And done pulling. Okay, so how long does that take? How long? So from my face right here, almost at the minimum focusing distance, if I step out of the way, and if I just wait, the background's a little darker, so it might be slower on that pull. But if I wait, okay, so it's at 15 seconds. And I'm gonna wait on it right here. I think it was about 5 seconds. No, 6, 7. That's a 7-second pull. That's pretty slow. I think too slow probably, but man, is that nice and smooth. I'm pretty happy with this. This is fun. I'm not accustomed to having a nice, smooth autofocus rack because of using the 18 to 35 all the time. And this definitely is pretty enticing, being able to use autofocus like this. I would be interested to see how it handles like complex like backlight or just situations like that. And I'm definitely gonna have to work this lens specifically at like 0 speed. Just for fun, I want to find out what happens if I go +3 on the focus speed. Okay. Trying to see if it's pulsy. Yeah, it is a little bit. It is definitely slightly pulsy. It's still hard to articulate what is pulsy about it, but there is a little bit of like a decisive, like first and second maybe kind of movement. Yeah, I can see it so clear right there, but it's hard to articulate what that is. But yeah, it looks like it's taking like 2 steps to get there. And this is at +3 speed. I think I probably wouldn't even find a situation where I'm wanting it to be that fast necessarily. Except, I guess, walking, maybe like a movement type of like a tracking shot where I want the face to always stay nice and crisp. Let's see. I don't know the minimum focusing distance on this, so this might be unfair. I mean, that's actually not crazy though. That's not pulsy. Maybe it is a little bit. Just a tiny little bit, but not bad. Ah, yeah, okay. I can see 1-2. The 1-2 movement kind of thing. It's definitely doing the little skip. Boom, boom. Yep. Okay. So it is kind of pulsy there, but not really if you're just moving like this. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting just to see the difference with speed application. So, now I've set the speed. Oh, we got clouds. So let's see. Now I've set the speed to 0, but the tracking sensitivity is at locked on. Because I wanted to know if it helps with the movement thing. Moving forward and backwards. Ooh. Yeah, that moves forward and backwards much smoother. Okay. I think that might be ideal. That way I'm locked on to the subject, so it's not quick to move, but then it moves the focus just a little bit faster once it does decide that it's ready to go. I think this is probably the ideal situation here, is 0 speed, just leave the speed at default, and locked on heavy, like heavy on the locked on, but like speed 0. I think this is probably the best looking focus so far. Oh, struggling here. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. Caught up eventually. I feel like it was, and more importantly, it was smooth. So, that's a good thing. Okay, backlit is a trickier situation here. I also want to know if I've got like a halation or anything like that going on. Let's see. So if I step out, okay, and it pulls it, gets focus. That was pretty smooth. I don't know if it's just because it's backlit that I could tell it was pulsy or not. I'm gonna move the focus point over to this tree and see what happens. Yeah, that looks pretty smooth. I can see the bokeh bounce a little bit during... Yeah, I could see that bounce just a little bit during the shift. I mean, but that's pretty good though. I mean, when I'm comparing this to a Fuji linear motor lens, if it's getting this close, I feel like I'm feeling pretty happy about that. I would want to know kind of some of the characteristics, like how much halation is happening here, or aberration. I'm using the word aberration, not halation. Swap those. So I want to know how much is happening right here, or if there is halation, if there is kind of a misty sort of glow happening. That looks fine. And then also, if the sun comes back out directly, I'd be interested to know what kind of flare. Oh, here's our flare. That's the flare. Okay. Let's move it around. Let's see the flare. Okay, so we have a teeny flare here, bigger flare here, green dot. And okay. I mean, not distracting. I don't mind those flares at all. 1.2, I mean, that is not a distractingly large flare or anything. Pretty happy with that. Let's see. This is funny. I'll block the glare with my head. I just can't tell looking at the screen how that's going, but yeah. Okay, this is like super backlit halation-y right here. And the fact that it's picking up my face is actually pretty impressive to me. I feel pretty good about that. Let's see it move to the background. And okay, we're fully halationed right here, like, and it's getting me. I wonder if it can get me up here. Gosh, that is pretty impressive. I feel pretty happy with this. I actually am curious what the minimum focusing distance is, because I don't know. Pretty close. Yeah. That looks pretty good overall. Pleased. If I'm going half in the frame. Okay, I'm only half filling the focus box, and I've got it on locked on all the way to the focus settings of locked on. Oh man, this is a strong halation blur kind of thing going on. And it still got my face. Still got my face, okay. See it move. And I'm back. Alright, that's interesting to me. Alright, now, kind of curious about the bokeh. Let's see how this looks. There's some nice rings here. I think they look like a good uniform shape. I like the look. I mean, man, at like a 35 mil equivalent, that is very, very shallow. I'm plenty happy with that. Let's see if I can tilt it down a bit more. Take a step back. Oh, look at that little, see this little ring here? So that we got the sun right over here, and well, behind me a little bit, I guess. And it's clipping the lens, and I can see ever so faintly right here. That's a really pretty little characteristic. I actually kind of like that. Maybe, I don't think that gets annoying over time. Okay, there I just blocked it with my left hand. If I block that, I mean, either way, I'm fine. Yeah, I think that bokeh is pretty. I like it. And yeah, it catches up in a very natural way. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not an autofocus guy, but with a lens like this, I can get where Canon and Sony people are coming from. I know that it's nice to have. And at 1.2 with this kind of autofocus, I feel like I'm almost experiencing full frame again. And it's been since my Sony days, a long time ago, that I've experienced it, so. That's pretty quick. And let's step out. Nice, that looked pretty smooth. Let's see how long it takes. Oh, that was fast. It jumped right to me. Here's a shot that I do sometimes, like where I have somebody walk through the frame and I don't want the focus to jump. Oh, it does. So I'd have to change the speed for something like that. I'd have to drop the speed. The speed's at 0 on the focus right now. If I set it to -3, I bet it would not move yet. It is on locked on, so it is kind of surprising to me that it's that fast, but it looks so smooth. Oh, I'm happy about that. Very curious about characteristic just of the bokeh going on here and stuff. Let's see if I were to just kind of vlog style, how would I feel about, you know, not messing with the exposure and stuff, like moving around, direct light. I know I'm a little overexposed, but all in all, that's nice. I think that's pretty bokeh here. At 1.2, I mean, it's incredibly shallow. At 35, like right here, I know 1.8 on the Sigma is shallow, but This is, yeah, this really does feel like a different level of shallow. This is cool. I think I'm a big fan right now. Let's see it. Okay, there we go. Ooh, got a little sunlight on the lens, maybe. Let's see if I can get some sunlight on the lens and see what happens here with the character. Okay, so there's sun directly blasting into the lens right now. And oh, it softens the image just a little bit. Okay, you can see when I shade it, you can see a little color come back into my shirt here. That's interesting. That's good to know. So, yeah, I think if I turn it sideways, that was when I was getting that little U-shaped ring over here, but I'm happy. This is fun. I like it.